Welcome to Talking Real Estate, your Champions Real Estate team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner, the second team leader here at Champions Real Estate team. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Got on a little later this afternoon than normal, usually over the lunch hour, but I had my very first field trip with my daughter and their preschool class to an apple orchard. So that was a lot of fun, but appreciate you jumping on, listen to me over what's going on over the last week in the real estate market here in the Omaha metro area. Let's jump into the graphics we usually jump onto here. Here we are. So over the last week, we've had 483 new listings. So we're up about 50 new listings from the week previous. New contracts, 289. We're actually down a little bit. I think it was about 40 contracts from the previous week. So we're not seeing as much buyer activity is what that's kind of telling us. Sold homes about right where they were the last week, 485, 484. Hopefully happy new homeowners there. But so as we kind of see there, we're seeing more listings coming on the market than we are seeing going off the market with those pending sales that we saw over the last week. So that's pretty typical for what we're seeing over this time of year, usually in that regards. But there's still some great houses out there for those buyers to take a look at. And obviously sellers still a great time. I mean, obviously you've capitalized on that appreciation growth over the last couple of years. So even putting your house on the market, and even if you're not getting the huge number of multiple offers that we were seeing at the beginning of the year, even in the summer time frame, you still are able to capitalize on that appreciation that you gotten over the last couple of years. So let's take a look at the 30,000 foot view of what's going on the MLS here. So 30,000 foot view. So Douglas, Sarpy County, and Omaha and Lincoln MLS is 2,300, just a little over. So we've been hovering around that 2,300 mark probably for the last month or so, almost 2 months. Number of homes in the Douglas, Sarpy County, so narrowing that down in the Omaha metro, that 1,330. We've kind of roughly gone up to that 1,400, kind of bouncing around that activity there. But as you can see over the last couple of weeks, we're seeing more houses go on the market than coming off the market with those pending sales, which basically means they're under contract. Existing homes, we're over the 600 mark for existing homes in Douglas and Sarpy County. New construction, 720. So we saw that number go down a little bit. So some of those houses are coming off the market or they've closed in that regards. Months of inventory, 1.4. Still about the same. The average sold price is at 316. Hasn't really changed too much year over year, but we're still up 13% from this time last year. So, as we touched on, the market's still doing very well. Like I said, we went over to the apple orchard this morning with my 4-year-old daughter's preschool class. So for them, low-hanging fruit, that was one of those things I just kind of like chuckled on when I'm talking about what we're here. As we're seeing interest rates climb up, we're seeing buyers kind of pull out of the market, which some of those buyers that are staying in the market may be able to find some of those low-hanging fruit houses that may have been on the market for a little bit longer, can jump in, still get a fair price for that house. You're not necessarily going to walk in and steal one of those houses because the market's still very strong in that regards. But if a house has been on the market for a couple of weeks, a month or so, maybe that seller's, been reading the press clippings and think their house is still going crazy and going up. We're not seeing that amount of intensity. The market is still very strong, but not as intense. I guess that's kind of the words I've been using to describe the market here over the last, probably month or so since school has started, which is a typical time of the year, kind of slows down, Labor Day. And then we kind of see a little bit of a bigger push coming into the holidays, before the holidays, so people can, what we're September 21st. So, I mean, you could close by the end of October on a new house, be in, for the Thanksgiving holidays and obviously all the other festivities that are going on in the month of December. But those are some things, the low-hanging fruit that I just kind of, play on words there with what's going on, even though as we've seen interest rates go up a little bit in this last couple of weeks. So touching on interest rates, Russ Williams usually joins us. He sent me an email this morning, kind of what's going on in the mortgage industry. We're still sitting at about 14-year highs for that interest rate. I believe the Fed is meeting this afternoon on whether they're going to increase short-term rates. So even if they increase short-term rates, that doesn't not necessarily directly affect the long-term rates, which is basically your 30-year mortgages and things of that sort. So sometimes that can help because they're trying to fight that inflation of what we're seeing out there in the economy. So that's one of those things we've said multiple times with Russ and I here on our weekly chats is, date the rate, marry the house, get those houses, at today's price, even though you're a higher interest rate, you can always refinance those rates anytime, if rates go down in the next year, 2 years or whatever. But typically on average, those real estate investments, buying those houses, we may not see that huge jump in 15% year over year appreciation. We may see it on average, typically it was about 3 to 5% increase. So you hear in the press, they're saying, well, we're going to see a depreciation in the houses and they're not going to grow. We're going to see prices drop. Not necessarily. What they're talking about a lot of times, and it's just kind of, they want that catchword of dropping and the crash and this and that. But it's more of, instead of seeing a 15, 13%, which we've seen on our average sold prices, it may be only a 5% increase. So yes, you're going to see an 8% drop. And that's what the press clipping is going to say is 8% drop in the, in the Omaha metro market. Well, that's just on the appreciation side. So it all just depends on how they spin the data. As we all know, you can make statistics say whatever you want them to say, just depending on how you phrase it, word it, what data are you using. So that's just one of those things that, make sure if you are thinking about buying or selling a house, get with one of us here at Champions Real Estate Team. We're happy to discuss your individual scenarios, what we can do, what we can do to help, and so you have the information at hand that's accurate. With, myself that's been doing this, I don't know, 14 years now, been around it all my life, fourth generation realtor. So those are one of those things that, if I don't have the answers to it, I can find them. I have the resources for that aspect of it. But that's our goal, is to help you get educated out there when you're buying and selling, the real estate. Even if you're thinking about getting in the real estate investing game, give me how I personally involved in that real estate investing. So, firsthand experience, obviously being a real estate agent, but also doing it and owning real estate property myself. So happy to help you in that manner if that's an option, but just give you the pros and cons and all that good stuff. So appreciate everyone jumping on today. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to me, 402-672-7670. Greatly appreciate it. Getting a little bit of rain today, so that's, a great time. I was gonna try to mow the grass later, but we'll see how that works out. But anyways, appreciate everybody. And take care, and we will see everyone next week. And so long.